It just boils my blood. It gets me upset. I still remember a lot of things in this investigation. And this Barry Seal that came up into the investigation that I was working with down in Yuma, Arizona, he came up because the private investigators, once again, I'm so focused of what happened to the agents in Kiki. And here comes the name of Barry Seal.
On November 24, 2016, Jeffrey St. Clair quoted Ronald Reagan in an article, Bear Cocaine, the Wild True Story Drug Running, Arms Smuggling, and Contras at a Backwoods Airstrip in the Clintons, Arkansas. Quote, I know that every American parent concerned about the drug problem will be outraged to hear that top Nicaraguan government officials are deeply involved in drug trafficking, end quote. Evil men don't understand justice. That's the focus of this podcast series. This episode is going to talk about Barry Seal and his connections to this case.
I know there was a guy that Jerry Pierce flew in small planes and landed in the middle of the desert, so there was nobody else around, and had a conversation. That guy was formally connected with Barry Seal. Our trucks were being used back in the 80s to take weapons down to Nicaragua, and Barry Seal's job, of course, was to take via airplane. Obviously, the same people are behind him.
Barry Seal, I heard from other senior agents, have been on the job for a long time. Because we're going back into the 1960s when Barry Seal was in the Army Special Forces. He was doing a lot of things for CIA. He was a punk that you couldn't trust. We're going back to Arkansas, Tyson Chicken. There's so much that you're going to learn as you read the book, The Path of the Devil, Camino del Diablo. And you're going to see that he was a guy that no one could trust. It was all about him. And he eventually gets killed. There was a leak at the White House. Before he died, he came over to work with DEA. He was going back and forth from Colombia. Pablo Escobar, you need to know something about him because he made a mockery to our country and to Colombia. DEA agents followed Barry Seal as he went back and forth because we squeezed him so hard that he wanted to do something. We followed the cocaine from Pablo Escobar, from the other cartels out of Colombia, right into Panama. If you remember Panama, Noriega, Vice President Bush and Bush later on. Noriega was finally arrested. He made a mockery of the United States. But our government knew what was going on. Olive North was all over this. They said it's sensitive. It's not sensitive. It's available to the American public. Anyone can read it.
One of the articles in 2017 talks about the story behind an infamous Escobar cartel assassination. Barry Seal was outed as being a key DEA informant. He was, quote, the most important witness in the history of DEA. Barry Seal was shot and killed in his parked Cadillac by a Colombian assassin, February 19th, 1986.
Study your history. It's all there. How people turn their heads to the right and left. They don't want to know what's going on. But Barry Seal, he worked both sides. And finally, he was killed. Ordered by Pablo Escobar. And let me tell you about Pablo Escobar. Never met him, but I met his sister. Very nice, very polite. And her husband is a Colombian lawyer. They came into the American embassy to get passports to go to the United States of America. They had no idea I was DEA. I had their passports in my hand because I want to talk to them about Pablo Escobar's son. That is the guy that I want to talk to. I want to find him. All I know, he was going back and forth to Spain and Argentina and some other places. Who knows? He might be in the United States. But that's the guy I want to find. After they found out I was DEA, they grabbed their passports from my hands and they ran out the door. I have no probable cause to stop them. There's no arrest warrant for them. Did they ever get to the United States? They probably did, under a bogus passport. They sure loved Pablo. They said he was a beautiful guy in Medellin. It's like a rose with a thorn. You touch that thorn, you can die. Two classes of people there. The very poor that's suffering, and of course the very wealthy with the money. And Pablo gave a lot of money. I met the police officers in Medellin that loved Pablo. I met police officers that were shot and that survived because of Pablo Escobar's organization. There's so much that I have to share with you. And I hope I have the great opportunity to do this.
Click the link below in the description.
I
to
want
get
you
more details.
to have an opportunity to see
This is the end of
face-to-face.
this episode of
DEA
Evil Men
always said,
Don't
"Larry, you're a
Understand
disgruntled
Justice.
employee." No,
We
I
hope
never
you will
was
join us
disgruntled.
again next
I
week
was
for more
disappointed and
true
sad
stories from
that
Larry
the taxpayers
and Ren.
pay me all this kind of money.
You will also
just to
enjoy
stop the
Larry's
flow of
other
drugs
two
in the
books,
United
Fighting
States.
My Greatest Enemy,
couldn't do it 'cause I'm gonna
Myself,
explain to you.
and Home is Never the Same.
Couldn't.
These books can
Because
be
of the
found
corruption
at
at the top, just like FBI.
or
Management, they were telling
LarryRayHarden.com.
Washington, D.C. what they want to hear. I hope you get a chance to hear more about it.
This is the end of this episode of Evil Men Don't Understand Justice. We hope you will join us again next week for more true stories from Larry and Ren. You may also enjoy Larry's other books, Fighting My Greatest Enemy, Myself, Home is Never the Same, and Life's a Journey Between Heaven and Hell. These books can be found at pathofthedevil.com or LarryRayHarden.com. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, click like and subscribe below. And if you're enjoying the stories in these podcasts, click the link below in the description box to get more details.